the one that did the actual kill, not me. I can't kill anyone.
So y'all go watch that video if y'all want to, but let me give you a little rundown so we could talk about it. So basically, she don't consider herself a murderer because she didn't actually do it with her own hands. She used someone else's hands. And let me just tell you this. Just because it ain't on your actual hands, it's still on your hands. You are just as guilty as the other person. I'm sorry, it is what it is. However, she goes on to say that, the boy loved her, said he would protect her from anyone. She said, even my mother, and baby, even her mother, okay? This is when I talk about the power of the woman, and this is something I want my sons to understand, and this is something that I have tried to protect the men in my life from. Women have the power to create or destroy. She's a destroyer because she was destroyed. To think that someone who grew up in manipulation doesn't understand manipulation, it's still in them, whether they recognize it or not, and I do believe that she recognizes. I think a lot of people have an issue with her just straight on the fact that she really don't have any sympathy for the man who protected her, who sacrificed his life for hers. Okay? And this is what I want my sons to understand. Love will have you sacrificing your life for another. And you have to be very careful with love. And you have to be careful about who you love and who loves you. Okay? Because just as much as you are willing to sacrifice your life for theirs, they need to be willing to protect your life. She was not willing to protect his life. This lady got out of jail, got a whole new man. Okay? While that other man is going to be giving away his whole life to the prison system because he wanted to protect her from the harm of her mother. And it can matter less to her at this point. And that's just the vibe she gives. I want my sons to understand that to give your life for another is not a terrible thing, but it is a very important thing on how you, okay, Papa, on how you operate in it. Please throw it in the trash. It's trash. There's nothing in there. Please throw it in the trash. Anyways, I'm not starting over. There are women, females in this world, who do prey on the vulnerability of men. I understand that because hurt people. And when you're hurt and you seek out to be protected, sometimes you will seek a masculine energy that you can overcome. Okay? And it usually comes from someone who doesn't necessarily know love. And so as a woman, you're able to manipulate that love and bend that love to your will. And that means you are able to turn that man into an assassin. Women been doing it since the beginning, okay? Women have the power to turn men into assassins. And a lot of men are willing to be the assassin for a woman. And when you're willing to do that for a woman or anyone in this world, you better be sure that they are truly worth it. They have to protect you too. See, the thing about masculine energy, it can be like this dark energy, very destructive and protective, right? And when it's protective, it will destroy anything in its way that is a threat to what it is protecting. And sometimes as a woman, well, it's not even sometimes. As a woman, you really, really need to understand that. Because your job as, like people like to say, helpmates, part of being a helpmate is to keep that other person from falling. Although I know that you will do these things for me, I have to make sure that you're not doing these things for me, which means I have to be in control of my emotions, and I have to sometimes think of you more than I think of myself. Meaning, I have to think of what's best for you. I have to love you enough to sacrifice my pride and ego. I have to love you enough to sacrifice what is harming me so that you don't sacrifice yourself for what is harming me. I hope y'all really understand that. I need my sons to understand it. My youngest, he's still little. My oldest, we talk about it sometimes, not all the time, but we talk about it sometimes because, you're still trying to teach her. How do you teach this to your son? And I teach it to my daughters. And I try to let my daughters know, listen, you got to be responsible for the people who love you. Because love will have you doing some crazy things, okay? The love that I have for my children will have me burning this down, okay? If you betray them, cross them, I have to control that in me, right? I have to control that because any little thing could get my emotions going and that rage going, and they could lose me over things that they don't need to lose me for. Anyways, I hope y'all get it because it's so important to get it. Just as much as a man is willing to protect you, you have to be willing to protect that man. And sometimes it means protecting that man from his self. And as a man, babe, you just can't be laying your life down for any and everybody because your sacrifice will not always be appreciated or welcome. Baby, Jesus gave his life for people and people didn't give a damn.